today we'll be discussing about the financial accounting from very start. So stay tuned and watch the full video so that you may understand what is accounting, what are the elements of accounting, and why do they classify as the same elements. So stay tuned. So there are 5 elements of accounting around which the whole accounting revolves. Number 1, assets. Number 2, expenses. Number 3, liabilities. Number 4, revenue. And number 5, okay, so there are 2 types of assets. Number 1, current asset, and number 2 is non-current or fixed assets. Now, what is current asset and what is fixed asset? Let us discuss it in detail. Okay, so firstly we are going to discuss about what is asset. If something is lying at the premises of the company, so how should I classify it as an asset? If the thing classifies or if the thing qualifies the 4 lines, if the 4 conditions it qualifies, then we'll classify it as an asset of the company. Number 1, it should be owned by the entity. If something is lying in the premises of the company and it is owned by someone else, means the possession is with us but the ownership belongs to anyone else, then we'll not say it as an asset of the company. Second, economic resource of the entity means it gives the economic benefits, either the financial, means the machine produces the products, it is giving something financially, but if the fans or ACs or lights or something like that is installed in the company, which is necessary to be installed, but it is not generating anything, still they are the assets of the company, although they are not giving anything financially. Number third, whether with without physical substance. So we can know what is with physical substance. Means if I'm speaking and I'm having this board behind me, so this is an asset of this entity. But what is without physical substance? Those assets which cannot be seen or touched either. They are intangible assets. What are they? We'll discuss later on. Then, expected to be used in the future. That asset belongs to the company and nobody else is going to take it. And the company is going to use it in the future. Jot down all the conditions if you want so, then we are moving forward to the types of the assets. So what is current asset? Current asset means those assets which can be used within 1 year. For example, cash in hand. As you guys know that it is the most liquid asset because the transaction of the company is being done on daily basis. So it is used within hours, not years. So it can be a current asset. Then cash in bank. The money which belongs to the company but it is lying at the bank is called cash and bank, and it is an asset as well. Then account receivable. All we have to understand is that the why account receivable is an asset. Hope you have asked to your teachers as well the question of why. So why it is so? If, for example, I've sold something to any of the customer on account, on credit, the money which is to be received in future. So why it is my asset? Because although the money is linked to him, but I have earned that money. So that is why it is in my ownership, it is economic resource of my entity, it is with physical substance, and it will give me the benefit in the future. So it complies with all the 4 conditions of an asset. That is why account receivable is an asset. Then notes receivable. What is note? Note means a written promise amongst the parties that the one shall pay it in the future, and it is written. So when the account receivable is done in the written form, then it is said to be an asset. Then merchandise inventory. Note down this thing that we are going to discuss it in detail after this. Then moving forward to the prepaid rent. Why prepaid rent is an asset? You don't have to mark up that prepaid rent is an asset. You have to ask the question of why as well. If, for example, I came in this building and I gave the rent in advance to the party, apart from any agreement, on the contrary, if I have a problem on the very next day that I want to leave this place, So can I have that money back? Yes, I can. Because the time I utilize that place for which I pay the money, that will not be in my reach, and that shall be income of the next party, and it shall be my expense. But till then, it is my asset. If I'm not using that place, if I'm not utilizing that place for which I pay the money, that's why prepaid is an asset for the entity. Supplies. Supplies means the stationery and all the items related to it. Then accrued income. Do memorize this thing that accrued does not have its own meaning. If it is written along with the income, that means income receivable. Same as the account receivable, the thing which we have to have in the future. So that's why it is an asset. In the same way, accrued income means an income receivable, and it is my asset as well. So let us discuss about the merchandise inventory in detail, that what does International Accounting Standard says about merchandise inventory. Let's move on. Inventory. As per International Accounting Standard 2, which deals in merchandise inventory accounting, it says that there are three types of businesses. One is trading, the other one is manufacturing, the third one is services. So in services, we do not have any sort of inventory means for selling or for manufacturing in this way. But the other two businesses, trading and manufacturing, it contains the inventory which are to be sold in the future. So for a retailer, anything held for sale. If you see that in retailer business, there are many things which are in use of the retailer. So that thing which will not be classified as inventory. But the things which the retailer have bought to sell, which he has made the intention to sell, that is called an inventory. So, in a nutshell, if I classify anything as the main business of a company, is called merchandise inventory. For example, if I make or assembles computers and I sell it, that is merchandise inventory for me. But in my business, furniture shall be there, and the lights, the fans, ACs, all these things shall also be installed, but these will not be classified as inventory. They shall be the normal assets. But the computers shall be my merchandise inventory because it shall be sold within 1 year or day to day. So that's why these are current assets. Then, for manufacturer, in manufacturing business, you all know that the person manufacture and sell it by himself. So in his business, the product shall be in 3 steps. Number 1, raw material. The product which is to be made means he will, if he's manufacturing the furniture, so he shall be having the raw wood in his premises. Then working process, the things which are in process, which are in the machines, which are being manufactured, means they're semi-finished. Then the third one, finished goods. The things which are made in the desired shapes. Those things are called finished goods. So if I ask manufacturer that how much merchandise inventory you have, so he will have to add up the raw material cost, the work in process cost, and the finished goods cost, and then he'll tell the whole inventory cost. So that is what merchandise inventory is all about. Then coming to the second type of asset, non-current or fixed asset. Tangible. Tangible means those assets which can be seen. So non-current or fixed asset means those assets which are useful for more than 1 year. For more than 1 year, they are useful. So in examples, we can see number 1, land. So all you guys know that land can never be finished or depreciated or something. Then building. Building can be used for more than 1 year, apart from any disaster or the natural calamity, but it can be used for more than 1 year. It has a normal useful life for more than 1 year. Then plant and machinery. Plant means those machineries which are installed in a bigger setup. So this plant and machinery can be used for more than 1 year as well. Then furniture. Furniture is also used for more than 1 year. It can be short term, but not because of its own life, but because of damage and all. But it has normal useful life for more than 1 year. That is why it is a non-current asset. Then, and the last, equipment. Equipment means the computers and the related items to the computers, like printers and typewriters and all. So these are classified as equipment, and these are non-current or fixed assets. The second element, expenses. What is expense in normal useful life, normal daily life? What do you call as an expense? The thing which we have paid the money for is an expense for us. But in accounting, it is different. In accounting, expense means any expired cost of asset. For example, if I purchase any of the furniture and I pay the money for that is not expense for me. Till then, the furniture will start losing its value. That shall be classified as expense, but till then, it shall be my asset. So, for example, on number 1, I have purchases. Purchases is a title which is used for purchasing the merchandise only. Rest of the assets shall be written by their own name. If I'm purchasing the machinery and machinery is not my merchandise, so that shall not be written as purchases. It shall be written by its own name. But if I'm purchasing any of the thing which is main business of my company, then it shall be classified as purchases. Then, coming to the second point, rent expense. If I'm living somewhere and I'm paying the rent of that, so that shall be my expense. On number 3, salary expense. Salary expense means the salary paid to the workers, and the workers are not going to give back the salary, and they have earned it and it is not in my reach. That money shall be my expense. Then, utility expense. Utility means gas, telephone, electricity, and telephone. All these are utility expenses, and if you have paid the money for that shall be utility expense. Then, depreciation expense. What is depreciation? We are going to discuss about it in detail, but firstly, we will discuss about bad debt expense. Here, the B is silent. What is bad debt expense? Debt means anything owed by someone. That means the loan taken by the customers from our company. So if I have a little doubt on the customers that they will not return me the money, that shall be classified as bad debt expense. Means that money is not in my reach because they have taken the money to themselves and they are not going to give me the money back. That is why bad debt expense is an expense, because that money is now gone. Now let's move forward to the depreciation. We shall discuss it in detail. Okay, so depreciation expense. What is depreciation expense? Let us discuss about it in detail. What does the accounting standard says about depreciation? Depreciation is just opposite word to the appreciation, which means the decline in the value of anything. But here it is specifically regards as the decline in the value of fixed assets. So what does accounting standard says? It says that decline in the value of fixed assets due to wear and tear except land. This wear and tear phrase means the decline in the value of fixed assets due to their normal nature. For example, if the asset is made up of steel or something like that, if it is made up of iron, so it will have the rust and it will start losing its value from the previous year as compared to the previous year. So if the furniture is made up of wood, then it will start losing its value by its own nature. And if it is made up of plastic, then the plastic will start losing its value on its own. But there is one asset which does not lose its value, that's land. So you guys know that land is being used for thousands and millions of years, and it is not being depreciated. It is not losing its value. Mind you guys one thing, remember one thing, that the decline in the value of anything, any asset, any fixed asset, building, plant and machinery, furniture and fixture, and equipment, because of wear and tear, because of their normal nature, if the value is being lost, that is depreciation. But if they are damaged or if they are broken out, then they are not termed as depreciation. So, hope you guys have got the idea about what is depreciation. And now we are moving forward to the third element. Third element is liability. What is liability? Its dictionary meanings are as obligation. And here in accounting, to some extent, it is the same as the dictionary meaning of liability. Liability means any present obligation arising due to any past event which causes the outflow of economic resources. Means if I have taken the loan in the past, that's my past event, and in present I have an obligation to pay it in the future, which shall causes the outflow of economic resources in the future. So this is liability, and liability is termed into two types. So there are two types of liabilities. Number one is current liability, and the other one is non-current liability. So what is current liability and what is non-current liability? Let us discuss about it in detail. Okay, so current liability. Current liability means which are to be paid within 1 year. So number one, we have account payable. Account payable means the money is to be paid in the future. For example, my company has purchased anything from anyone, the money of which is to be paid in the future. So that shall be account payable. Then notes payable. So we have discussed, while discussing about the notes receivable, means any account payable which is done in the written form and the note is made against it. That is notes payable. But it should be within 1 year, then it shall classify as current liability. Then moving to the third one is salaries payable. Means we have taken the work from the workers, from the employees, and we have not paid them the salaries yet. So that salary is an obligation on the company, and it will be consistent upon the outflow of the economic resources in the future. On number third, we have rent payable. Means we have utilized any of the place and we have lived there and we haven't paid the money yet. So that rent is payable for us, and it shall be consisting upon any outflow of the economic resources in the future. Then utility bills payable. Utility means electricity, gas, water, telephone. So if those bills are payable in the future, and that shall be consistent upon the outflow of the economic resources in the future, so it is termed as utility bills payable. Then unearned income. What is unearned income and why it is a liability? You don't need to mug up this that unearned income is a liability, but you got to know the concept behind it, the why it is termed as liability. For example, if I have taken any of the income in advance and I have not provided the services to the same party, so I have an obligation that I will provide the services to the relevant party in the future. So these services are obligations upon me that I have to pay off these in the future. So this is a current liability for me. So the second type of liability is non-current liability. Non-current liability means which are to be paid after 1 year. So the examples are, number one, long-term loan payable. The loans which are to be paid after 1 year, although it is of 2 years or 1.5 years, but it should be more than 1 year. Then debenture payable. So most of you guys know about debenture, but let me explain it in detail. What is debenture? Same as shares, as the shares are ownership certificate distributed by the company to the general public. Debentures are the loan certificate which are distributed by the company to the general public, and the company takes the loan from the general public in the same way. So these are of more than 1 year. That is why they are termed as non-current liability. So on number 4, we have revenue. Revenue means any source of income. So on basic level, you get to know about this, and that's enough for you. But in higher studies, you will see it in reporting standards and international accounting standards, that what is revenue and how different businesses book their revenue in their books. So, for example, we have on number 1, sales. Sales is the most common term used for revenue in the businesses. And same as while discussing about the purchases, I told you guys that for purchasing merchandise, you got to use the title of purchases, but the other assets shall be taken their name in the books. And in the same way, here, sales, we shall use this title while selling the merchandise only. But rest of the assets, if they are sold, they shall be written by their own name in the books. On number 2, commission income. Commission income means the brokerage houses and the other businesses in the same way, the ones which are taking commission and which are doing the business on commission basis. So they are booking their revenue in their books as commission incomes. Rent income. For example, my company just constructs the building and let them on rent. So this is a source of income for my company as well, and that shall be termed as revenue in my books. Then consultancy fee income. If you go to a doctor, so he does not give you any of the medicine, but he just consults you what you have to do and what are the prescriptions and all in your case. So he's charging the fee for that consultancy which he has given you. So that is a source of income for him as well. So if the company is doing any of the business in the same way, so it can say it as its revenue. So on number 5th element, we have owner's equity. Owner's equity means any contribution made by owner. Why I have written the word contribution? Because most of you guys use the word only investment. But here I'm using the word contribution because if the owner is investing any cash in the business, so that is his investment into the business. On number 2nd, if he has brought any of the asset from his personal sources, so that is a contribution made by the owner, and that should be termed as investment as well. And number 3rd, if he has paid off the loans of the company, so that is also a contribution from him to the business. So that all shall be termed as the investments made by the owner, and we will use the title of capital for any contribution made by the owner. So that was all for today's lectures, and we are going to end our video here. But wait a second, you have an opportunity that you can put your questions into the comment section, and you can ask any sort of question to us, and we shall entertain it into the next video. Till then, good luck.